Just check. Show good. All right. I'd like to start out by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Ron Doughton. Japheth is not the white man. And pretty much I'm joined with the Elder Kanak.
Shalom.
And we were listening to a video with the Elder Karatazar from the Vegas camp early this morning. And he kept saying Ron Dalton, but the way he was saying is like he was saying, sounded like he was saying Ron Dalton. Now, I don't know if he was saying like that on purpose, but I said, you know what, that's a good name for him because he is Ron Dalton. So that's why this is called that. Japheth is not the white man. Now we're just gonna get a couple of quick precepts before we get started, and just show you like a whole host of different pictures, just dealing with the Etruscans, alone. And we ain't even get into the Minoans and anything else. So let's go from there. Let's go first to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8.
Okay. Yep, this is 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Right. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed. Let's look up this word wicked real quick, see what it says. The word there is anomos, destitute of Mosaic law of the Gentiles. Is dealing with Esau, departing from the law, or violator of the law, lawless, wicked. That's Esau. Esau is lawless and wicked. So it says, then shall that wicked be revealed, right? It says, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. Now, you have wicked people among the different nations, but who is the wicked among all of these nations? Because you have the sons of the wicked. Well, that would be Esau. Let's go to Malachi chapter 1. Read the, matter of fact, just go straight to the point, 4th verse.
Yep, this is Malachi 1 and 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord has indignation forever.
So the Edomites, to show you, because sometimes you read the word Edom is talking about the land, sometimes the land is talking about America, and sometimes it's talking about Esau or Edom, his other name, or sometimes it's talking about the nation of the Edomites. In this case, it's talking about the nation of the Edomites, the border of wickedness. Let's look up this word for wickedness. It should be something along the line of wickedness right there. Rashai, right, which goes back to the word rai. Wickedness, guilt, wickedness in civil relations. Damn, if that don't fit Esau. Wickedness of enemies, yeah, because he's the Most High's enemy and our enemy. Wickedness, ethical and religious. All right, so we've established that the Edomites are the wicked, right? And we've established that the Lord is going to reveal the wicked. Let's go to one more precept, Job 9 and 24.
Yep, this is Job 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
Right, because one of the very first things that Esau did when he got out of his prison sentence was what? Deceive the whole world. You about to pull that up?
Oh, no, I was going to hit. Oh, you want me to do that?
No. Go ahead. We'll go where you going?
Go to Proverbs 29, just to,
Okay, cool.
Back off what you
Let's go.
24.
Yeah, you can say, a few words on it.
Yeah, this is Proverbs, because we're just establishing who the wicked is, according to their deeds that they're doing down here on the earth.
Yep.
Okay. This is Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And the people are not rejoicing right now. The people are complaining. But when the wicked fell rule, the people mourn. and you have the whole world that's in a state of mourning. Why? Because the people, the wicked people of the earth, the wicked, the actual individual that the Most High set up to play the bad guy, is in rulership.
That's right.
And that's clear and that's evident. Okay, and really nobody can really deny that outside of you, selling out or being just a complete bug out.
Yeah. Jump to the 16th verse.
Yep, verse 16. When the wicked are multiplied, transgressions increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall.
Right. So we see that the people that are the wicked are ruling because it says transgression increaseth, and this world is becoming progressively more and more wicked. Now, when the world was always wicked from the beginning, but when was it really multiplied in wickedness? Well, we would have to go to the Apocrypha for that. First Maccabees, chapter 1, and what is that, 7?
Yep. First Maccabees 1:7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years.
It's talking about the Greeks, which they were never known as the Greeks. They took on the nationality of the Greeks. Go ahead.
And evils were multiplied in the earth.
See, so we established that the Lord is revealing the wicked. We've established that the Edomites are the wicked. We've established that people mourn under the rule of the wicked. And when the wicked are ruling, transgressions increase. And we also established that when the Greeks came into power, evil started to become multiplied in the earth. So let's go back to Job 9:24.
This is Job 9 and verse 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
So the earth right now is under the power and authority of the wicked. So who's ruling the world? The Edomites, the so-called white man. It says he covers the faces of the judges thereof. That's a whole lesson within itself. If not, where and who is he? So if the so-called white man is not the wicked, if they didn't destroy the earth, if they haven't covered the faces of the judges thereof, where and who is he? What nation of people did this? All right, so go back to 2 Thessalonians, and then we'll read that again, and then we'll get to some of these pictures to show Ron doubting that he's totally wrong on who Japheth is.
Well, it's coming out that he doesn't even believe in the scriptures.
Yep.
So how can he be the authority to tell us who Japheth or who anybody is concerning the scriptures when you don't even believe the scriptures?
Damn.
Make that make sense.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, it would make sense that people would be labeled after the lands that they lived in if this was a perfect world. You see, because the peoples of the different lands have been moved over the years, over the centuries. So you can't classify a certain group of people, by the land where they live at. Because people have migrated, people have, been conquered, people have been colonized, so you can't just rely on that. That's why the Lord said, remove not the ancient landmarks. Why? Because those landmarks were given to those nations as an inheritance. And when you do that, what you do is you destroy the people's heritage, and you take land that was already given to them previously by the Lord. So let's, it says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which is what? The prophets. So the prophets are prophesying, bringing out the truth. And what?
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, because that's going to be the destruction. Because the scriptures say that when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. Right? So now, let's get to some of these pictures to show you that Ron Dalton is off. He's totally off. And as you can see here, these are the Etruscans. You see the man there. You see the man over here. Brown-skinned men. Not no white people. See her, she might be a little lighter. She's a little lighter, because you eventually you had Edomites that mingled in with some of these Japhetic people. Because when the Romans came into power, what did they do? They took on a lot of the customs of the Etruscans and a lot of their laws, so on and so forth. So, and if you want to say anything, feel free. So let's go to the next one. Look at that. That's an Etruscan. Don't look like no white boy to me.
It looked like a Japheth.
Well, that's exactly
what
it
I'm
is.
saying.
Yeah.
It looked like a straight up Japheth. One of them Samoans or Micronesians, so-called Polynesian, as Esau classified them.
Look at that.
Watch the movie Moana. That look like Maui right there.
Maui Wowie. All right. All right, so let's go to the next one. Here you go. Who were the Etruscans? Ancient Italian civilization, 900 BCE to 27 BCE. And as you can see, these are not white people. White people never wore rolls like this, corn rolls or braids. That was something that they did later, copying, Jake. As you can see, these are brown-skinned people, a man and a woman. All right. It just says an Etruscan tomb. So let's go to the next one. As you can see here, these are Etruscans, brown-skinned, dark brown-skinned people right here. And then you have this individual. I don't know if this is a woman or what it is. It might be a woman. Looks like they got earrings or something like that. Lipstick or something. I can't really tell. And if this is a Edomite or a so-called white man, guess what? Esau started mingling among the Etruscans, among the different, when they started conquering them, the different Japhetic, the brown-skinned Japhetic people of Europe. All right. If you want to say something, like I said, feel free. Let's go to the next one. Here you go. This is a terracotta. Look at that. That don't look like no white boy to me. Look at that. That's Japheth. Some of them big ass, Hawaiian individuals, different so-called Polynesian, that
they look just like them.
Yeah.
It's clear to see, and they're not in that land that they were before. All right, they were pushed out of that land.
Yep.
Okay, so you can't classify a nation in this time now. You can't classify a nation according to the land that they're living because there's been so much dispersion.
Yep.
So migration, slavery.
Yep.
Look, you have a whole people group. Jake. The tribe of Judah that got brought over here to the Americas. From a different part of the earth, and then they fled into Africa. Mm-hmm. You couldn't even call them African because they weren't even African.
Now you have some of these Etruscans that were brown skinned, but they had blondish, brownish looking hair. Like this. I think this is just a head covering because I see looks like the hair over here is the same color as his beard. But when you look at some of these pictures, you have brown skinned individuals like this with blonde looking hair. So what I did, just to find out if we can get any info on it, I typed in Polynesian people with blonde hair, and this is what came out. These are brown-skinned Japhetic people with blondish, brownish hair, as you can see. A lot of those Aborigines in Australia, they're Japhetic people. Japhites, so you could understand. And these are Japhetic people, because when you type in Polynesians, they look just like the Etruscans. They look just like the Minoans, And I'm sure there was a lot more art that these devils done destroyed out there.
Oh yeah. Well, just as we was reading in Job 9:24. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. So he's done it to the Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you think that he has not done it to all the other nations as well? Because really, what was Esau trying to do? He's trying to destroy everybody's culture to really hide himself from being an Edomite, you know, because if everybody knew who they were, then everybody would be able to identify who Esau is.
God.
You know, the fugitive of the earth.
Yeah, that's why he hid that. And he got some fine ass women, boy.
No, they got some, you know.
Damn. Anyways, let's go to the next one. This is I believe this is another tomb. This is a tomb, right? Let me see. Let me make this a little bit bigger. And as you can see, you have brown-skinned Japhetic men here. You know, now you have an Edomite-looking dude here and an Edomite-looking dude there. But remember, Esau, you know, got up in there. Now, some of them may have been just taken in, or some of them just ended up conquering these different lands. Remember, Esau, that's how when they got into Europe, they started to remove the brown-skinned people of Japheth. And that's why you see the face of so-called Europe changed into white-looking people. And I forgot who it was. I'm not sure if that was the elder Karatazar or other brothers. Another brother we were watching, or I was watching, where he found some info to where, you know, the original people of Europe were brown-skinned people. You know, you had some Hamites, of course. You had Jake, and then you had Japheth. The majority of people on the planet Earth, you know, 85 to 90% of people of the planet Earth were brown-skinned people. The only people that were of a different hue, so to speak, were the Edomites. And back then you had Cain. So as you can see, these are brown-skinned people. So these so-called white men is not Japheth. That's a bogus lie that's been taught. You know, Noah had 3 sons, and one of them was white, one of them was black, and the other one was Oriental. Come on, that's man. Let's go to the next one. But the lengths that Esau will go,
yeah,
you know, to hide the truth.
That's it.
And as you can see, this is I mean, he's kind of flamboyant, you know, but as you can see, this looks more like the so-called Hawaiians, you know, so-called, you know, well, the Tongans, they're kind of big, you know, more like, you know, them so-called, what they call Polynesian people. That's what Esau labels them as.
Yeah, you got a lot of there's a lot of sweetness within Japheth as well. Them Japhetic dudes, they be dancing and shit, have their shirt off, you know.
Moist.
You know, real moist. And that's within their community.
Trash. But as you can see, that's not a white person. All right, let's go to the next one. Oops. So there you go. Look at the hair. Look at the features. Look at the skin color. And these are still paintings that are left around. But then you have these individuals still teaching their bullshit that the so-called white man is Japheth. You know? And then you had the Minoans, which were, when you type it, you ask Google a question, were the Minoan seafaring people? And it says yes. Just like the so-called Polynesians, they're seafaring people. All right, let's go to the next one, or the last one. These are 2 boxes. And some of these Elder Pastor, you know, have brought out in one of the lessons he did years back, you know. But you can see these are brown-skinned men. And then this picture, you know, is old, so it's falling apart. But you can still see that they're brown-skinned underneath. And they were really darker. But some of the paint like broke off, as you can see there. All right. So this, you know, these are the original Japhetic people. That's why when we say Japheth, we say the brown-skinned people of Japheth. You know, Noah was dark-skinned and his 3 sons were brown-skinned. All right. You know, so let's just hit 2 Thessalonians again, and, you know, we can end the lesson unless you have another precept or anything, you know, else you wanted to say. Done. Matter of fact, start at 7.
This 2 Thessalonians 2:7. For the mystery of iniquity does already work.
Right. So it was already in play while the apostle Paul was alive, because it was the Roman Empire. So it was already in work. Go ahead.
Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way.
Right. So the Lord allowed them to do that. Why? Because he, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. Because that was what they were set up for. They had to go around the earth and deceive the whole earth. They had to, um, create this great deception, so that at the end of it all, the Lord can come back and reveal the ass. So go ahead.
And then
you was right. Go ahead, finish what you were doing.
And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
Right. So how would the wicked be revealed? See, because when you look up, the word revealed, it's a compound word. Re is back and veil is veil. So to reveal something is to pull back the veil on something, to show what's behind it, because obviously there was a covering, a cast covering over it, a cheap veneer that was put over it to pretty much hide the truth. And that's what we're witnessing right now, or today, is the taking of the cover off of what Esau put up to show the world the truth. You see, so in order to hide their identity as being the Edomites, they had to put the phony facade that they're Japheth, or that they're white, or that they're whatever. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to bring just a land back on what you're saying, Isaiah 25:7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people.
Right. The Most High is going to destroy, destructure, take it apart, reveal what's behind the curtain. In what mountain? Singular, America, this top government. The face of the covering, because these devils put a covering over the face of the Most High, over the face of Yahushua, over the face of the angels, over the face of the Israelites. You see? So the Lord is peeling that away. He's stripping that away, cast over all people, because even the nations themselves today, are confused as to who they are. This is why the majority of the earth today cannot trace or know who they were, who their ancient names were, because all people go back to Noah's three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And then when you type in Google, do all people go back? It'll tell you no. That's bullshit. All people go back to, because I think they said something about the curse of Ham, made it impossible for for people to trace their life. Some crazy shit like that. I was like, what?
Yeah. They're Esau set up to deceive you.
That's it.
That's basically what he was set up to do. Okay, he set up to deceive not only the Israelites, all right, but the other nations, but his own nation as well. Because he doesn't even want, his own nation to, tell the truth.
That's it.
He'll take them out, like Arthur Koser.
Oh yeah.
He wrote the book, The 13th Tribe, basically saying if those people were part of Israel or Israelites out of the scriptures, then there will have to be a 13th tribe. Basically saying these dudes, these are imposters.
Yeah.
And basically now that doctrine that the so-called white man is Japheth, that was all to disguise himself from being the true Edomite. Yep. And he has certain apologists that would push that narrative. So certain bug-outs that get trapped up in that trap, that web of lies.
Oh yeah.
And now that the truth is coming out, who he really is, he's scrambling. And he's trying to double down on these false narratives, these false doctrines, these false philosophies.
Yep. Bug outs. I finished that last part.
It says, and the veil that is spread over all nations.
Right. And that's what we're witnessing right now. That's why back in 2 Thessalonians, and then shall the wicked be then shall that wicked be revealed, meaning strip. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's look up the word revealed real quick. Okay. The word, see, look at that, apocalypto. Yep. Apocalypto, which APO means to send, and kalupto, which goes back to cryptic, means to cover or to hide. Where we at? Oh, right here.
To uncover lay open what has been veiled or covered up.
There you go.
Ooh, look at that. You know, Esau, he covered up that he was the fact that he was an Edomite.
Mm-hmm.
And now that veil, he's being revealed now, is being pulled back. And what is he doing? He's trying to cover it back up.
Yep.
But the cat is already out of the bag.
Cat's out the bag, dude.
It says disclose, make bare.
Mm-hmm.
And the scriptures speak about the Lord is going to make Esau bare.
That's right.
Which is going into his destruction, but also his revealing as well.
Because a part of his destruction is his revealing.
That's it. That's it. Well, uncover the thigh.
Yep. Pass over the river.
Pass over the river. You know.
Hey, so on all levels, Esau's being revealed everywhere.
That's it.
You know, from sea to shining sea.
to make known, make manifest, disclose what before was unknown.
To disclose what before was unknown. See, that's why it says the truth which has been so long without fruit shall be declared, shall be made clear. You know, declared of clear, made clear, and that's what's happening right now. And that big spotlight of truth is shining on Esau's lying ass because he's a father of lies, and is revealing his ass, and he's trying to hide, you know, trying to wiggle around, but he can't.
He's trying to hide. Being an Edomite by saying he is a Japheth, or saying hide being an Edomite by saying he's an Israelite.
Yep.
You know, he's this, he's that, or he's the last Mohican. He's the last samurai. You know, he's everything but an Edomite. And when you look and you try to research who the Edomites are, they'll say they're done away with.
Yep.
You know, why out of all nations, why the Edomites got to be done away with? Because he understands what that means, what that implies. If the world were to know that he is the Edomite, they will shun him.
Oh yeah.
You know, they will come after him as a thief, like in Job the 30th chapter.
They will drive him back to his jungle lair. Matter of fact, this I wasn't thinking about this. I was thinking about
Jeremiah
it earlier.
49.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the verse. Because if Esau's done away with, then you know. Let me see, right here. Verse 17, then where are the people, you know, saying this about Edom? Go ahead.
Jeremiah 49:17. Also, Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof.
So, what plagues are being, you know, what are people hissing about the land of Edom today? What are they hissing about? What plagues is this talking about? All these different plagues. They said Edomites are done away with. Okay, so the land, there should be people like, oh my gosh, you see this shit? Wow, you know, what major events and plagues, you know, are the people of the world talking about, you know, concerning the land of Edom? You know, since the Edomites are done away with. That's not. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was going.
Go ahead.
I was going to continue.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. It says, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighbor cities thereof. Yep. Said the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it.
That's it. And the land of Edom there's still people there. You know, you have you know, so-called Arabs that live there now. You know, so come on, man.
Oh, well, he's saying that them so-called Arabs, those are Edomites.
Yeah.
The Nabateans.
Yep. You know why? Because Antipater, the progenitor or the father of the Herodian dynasty, married a Nabatean princess whose name was Cypros. You know, so that's why they try to make it to where the so-called Arabs are Edomites now. Rat bastards.
Everybody but him.
Right.
So then who is the so-called white man? Well, he'll say in certain sectors, he'll say that that's Jacob. You know? Oh, but there's also within what's it called? Small hats. The small hats believe that the so-called white men here in America are the Edomites. You know, so it's just and they're the Jews, and the white man is the Edomites. So it's nothing but confusion. And we're here to lay the record straight through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai by bringing out the truth.
Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, there's more in here, but we won't leave it at that unless you have some other points, another
They know that.
precept you want to bring out. So you know what? Read 2 Thessalonians 2:8 again.
2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Yep, and that's what's coming. The revelation or the revealing part is going on now. Esau's in his sentencing stage. After the sentencing stage is over, comes the judgment. And all we're waiting for is for the MOTB system to be fully implemented and made mandatory. And boom, after that, it's over. Game over.
That's it.
Anything else?
That's it.
So with that, we pray that you brothers and sisters have been edified. Till the next time we say Shalom.
Shalom.